The Little Mermaid. Deep inside the blue sea, where the sun rays could not reach, stood the kingdom of the Sea King. His kingdom was more magnificent than any palace built by man. King lived with his old mother and 6 beautiful daughters. The mermaids were forbidden to rise above water until they were 15. One by one, the princesses turned 15. Every time a princess returned from her trips above water, she told a wonderful story. "I saw beautiful castles," said one. "I saw huge cities," said another, increasing the curiosity of the youngest princess, Ariel. At last, Ariel too turned 15. "I will now see the land of men," she exclaimed with joy. The little mermaid waited impatiently for the evening and then rose above water. She saw a ship. "I must take a closer look at this beautiful ship," said Ariel to her best friend. As she swam towards the ship, she saw several firecrackers light up the night sky. The night sky was lit with a beautiful display of colors. The mermaid was wonderstruck and said, "I wonder, what are they celebrating?" Curious, the young mermaid began swimming near the cabin windows. Then, by a cabin window, she saw a handsome prince named Eric, looking outside towards the sea. Minutes later, a wild storm arose. As Ariel watched, the ship was caught in the violent waves. Winds howled and lightning struck the ship. Soon the ship was on fire. The little mermaid looked on from just beneath the water surface helplessly. Just then, a huge wave crashed over the deck. In a flash of lightning, Ariel saw that Prince Eric was thrown into the sea. As fast as she could in the raging waves, Ariel caught hold of Prince and brought him to the sea surface. The prince was unconscious. Then in the raging storm, she swam with the prince towards the seashore. The ship, along with the sailors, had meanwhile gone down into the sea. When the mermaid had brought the prince to the shore, she remained beside him. Soon, however, he regained consciousness and she had to hide herself among the waves. Just then, a young girl saw the prince. She thought that he was hurt and called for help. Then she took him away in her carriage. "I wonder if I'll ever see him again. The prince would never know that I had saved him." The mermaid thought sadly. With a heavy heart, she swam back to her father's castle. Every day, the little mermaid rose above water in the hope of seeing Prince, but she never saw him. Luckily, one day she did see him near a beautiful castle. Then she started visiting that same place every day. One day, the mermaid asked her grandmother, "Grandma, do men live forever?" "No, they must die, but unlike us, they have immortal souls that live forever," said her grandmother. From that moment, the little mermaid was determined to become a human being and have an immortal soul. "I will ask the sea witch for help," she often thought. One day, Ariel went to the sea witch and told her what she wanted. "You love the prince and want to become a human? I can help you, but in return, I want your sweet voice," said the sea witch. The little mermaid agreed, for she only wanted to be a human. The sea witch gave her a potion and said,
"Drink this potion at dawn, but remember that you will die if the prince marries someone else."
The little mermaid was very happy and swam quickly towards the prince's castle. At dawn, she came up to the shore and drank the potion the sea witch had given her. At once, she was in terrible pain. It seemed to her that she was burning. When she could bear the pain no longer, she fainted. When she recovered, she saw the prince standing beside her. The little mermaid was filled with joy.
"Who are you?"
Prince asked her kindly. The little mermaid tried to reply, but remembered that she would never be able to speak again. The sea witch had taken away her sweet voice, but she did not regret losing her voice. She was near her prince. The kind prince then took her to his castle. The mermaid now lived in the prince's castle, but as time passed, she realized that the prince only thought of her as his friend. He did not love her. The little mermaid was sad. One day, the prince told her, "Ariel, my friend, I'm going to visit a princess who will be my bride. I want you to come with me." The little mermaid agreed. Now the prince's bride turned out to be the same girl who had helped him on the seashore. Later, as they returned to the prince's kingdom, the little mermaid remembered the words of the sea witch. She thought, standing on the ship's deck, "Though I have become human, I have not been able to get my love." As her thoughts gradually turned to her father and sisters, she thought that her sisters were swimming by the side of the ship. When she looked again, indeed her sisters were looking at her with bleeding eyes. She saw that her sister's hair was cut short. Surprised, she asked with gestures, "What are you all doing here? Why have you all cut your hair?" "Ariel, we have given out here to the sea witch in exchange for this dagger. You must pierce it through the prince's heart. You will once again become a mermaid the moment his blood will fall on his feet. Also, you will not die, dear sister," said her sisters. The little mermaid took the dagger from her sisters, but as she went towards the prince's room, she stopped. "I cannot kill the prince," she thought, and flung the dagger into the sea. The next moment, the sea water turned red, and before his sisters could understand anything, the little mermaid jumped into the sea from the ship's deck. But instead of falling down into the sea, the little mermaid felt as if she was rising higher and higher into the sky. Hundreds of transparent beings were flying in the air around her. They surrounded her and said, "We are the daughters of air. You are one of us now. Come with us. With your good deeds, you have earned an immortal soul." Ariel, the little mermaid, got everlasting happiness, for she had sacrificed her life for the prince whom she loved.